Here's today's spotlight question for today. How do I deal with a son that admitted how much he loves me and how much he misses the time we could spend together, but it recognizes his wife won't allow it? He says he doesn't like how things are and he would do almost anything to change it, but it is what it is. Meanwhile, time slips away with us. Well, this is very common. I particularly see it as being common with sons and daughters-in-law, where the son is in contact with the parents, but maybe he can't allow them to have contact with the grandchildren because his wife makes his life so miserable. Now, typically in these situations where you've got a gatekeeper son-in-law or daughter-in-law, more often I see it with daughters-in-law, but I certainly work with plenty where there's the gatekeeper sons-in-law, is that the parent has to see if there's a way to develop some kind of an amends or rapport with the son-in-law or daughter-in-law. So I commonly recommend that the parent who's in this situation write an amends letter to say the daughter-in-law. Now, a lot of parents will say, why would I do that? I hate this person. They've ruined my life. They're keeping me from my son and my grandchildren. You know, why would I do that? You're just enabling them. No, you're not enabling them. You're actually accepting the fact that you have no power. And the more you pull back, it actually empowers them further. So you write the letter of amends to the troubled son-in-law or daughter-in-law because you're doing it, A, because they may relent, and sometimes they do, and B, because you're doing it for the audience of your son, so he can say, look, I think my parents are trying. It's really hard to write those letters. Let's give them a chance. If you don't do that, if you just sort of leave it be the way that it is, then the troubled daughter-in-law can say, well, see, your parents don't even care about me. They're not even, they've never apologized to me, even if you didn't do anything wrong. So that's why you do it in this way. Now, the other thing that you can do if your kid's in contact with you is ask them if they have ideas about what you could or should do. And if there's grandchildren that you're being denied, I don't think you can do it every time you're not an estranged child is in contact with you, because you want to preserve that relationship. And if they're conflict avoidant, they're going to conflict avoid you if you make them feel too guilty about they're not having access to the grandchildren. But you can once or twice a year say something like, look, sweetheart, we understand you're in a very difficult position. We understand that if you push, advocate for us, it upsets your wife. But, we also have a right to be grandparents, and we would like you to try a little bit harder to get us to see our grandchildren. Maybe there's other things we can do or say we're happy to do that. But, a lot of it also hinges on you. Now, I say you can only do that once or twice a year, because if you do it more than that, then your kid's going to feel guilty and then they're going to start shining you on. But you should do it at least a few times a year, because your conflict avoidant kid is just going to keep conflict avoiding if you know.